Citizens of the Reject Nation, we're here to do the Easter eggs reaction for The Last of Us finale before we do our live stream. We're going to do our live stream soon. Guys, this one's long. Dang, Paul, this is longer than the episode itself. Are you okay? I'm excited to see what you got to say. And of course, joined by Andrew Gore. Andrew.
You're not excited to hear what I have to say, though, are you? Are you, Greg?
No.
Okay, it's okay.
Just
No one else is.
Ramblings. Hey, leave a like. Check out our reaction to the finale. Let's just see what's going on. Paul, you sexy Brit, you. Paul!
Okay, so the Last of Us Season 1 episode is...
You could have cut that. We could have saved ourselves 10 seconds and this video wouldn't be this long.
Okay, so the Last of Us Season 1 episode is now out, and throughout this video, we're going to be breaking down Episode 9, all the Easter eggs, hidden details, and also discussing the ending. First up, though, I want to thank everyone for rocking with me the last 9 weeks, and we're sort of like Joel and Ellie a bit, because I doomed the entire human race just to get a thumbs up from you.
Hell yeah, do it.
The episode with a flashback, and this features a major game cameo. Out in the woods, we join a pregnant woman running, and this is none other than Ashley Johnson.
Whoop, whoop.
Ashley voiced Ellie in the game, and here we catch her playing her mother.
Let's not forget, she was also Mel Gibson's daughter in
What Women Want, and she was also Jean-Claude Van Damme's niece in Lionheart, which was directed by Sheldon Latiche, and he also directed the very follow-up film to that, which was Double Impact.
I don't know.
Double Impact, 1991.
So far, several big actors from the game have popped up, including Tommy's voice actor as Perry, Troy Baker as James last week, and Marlene, who shows up later on in this scene. Ellie's mother is called Anna, and she was first mentioned in The Last of Us comic American Dreams.
Oh,
It
neat.
featured Ellie and Riley, and in it we learned a little bit about Anna and what she did before the outbreak. Anna worked as a nurse, and we know she and her lifelong friend Marlene survived together when everything went down worse, and this channel's views next week. All that we learned from the backstory was that she died within a day of giving birth to Ellie, but here we see it fleshed out with her running to a farmhouse being chased by an infected person. We can see a big symbol for the fireflies, denoting
I
that
didn't
this
even
is a
notice
safe
that.
house, and you can also catch what I'm guessing is the Boston QZ in the background.
Yes.
As we know, this was controlled by Fedra, and though we don't learn why Anna's out on her own like this, it likely has something to do with the infected. Perhaps they were out on the road and then they were ambushed and Anna ended up fleeing, which could have led to this.
You know, we did say in our reaction that it looked like a certain kind of farmhouse, and we were referring to, I'm assuming we were both referring to The Last of Us Part 2 farmhouse that we are not in the spoiler section yet, so we can't really go into. However, I think it would be more poignant and meaningful if for season 2, if that farmhouse does come into play for Ellie, they did make it this farmhouse.
That'd be, crazy. I mean, I don't remember the location in the game.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They changed shit. They could do it.
That's true, because Kansas City in this was Pittsburgh in the game, so yeah, that's a good point. Very true.
Yes.
Very
See,
true.
good points. Good points all around from Greg. And Andrew's knowledge of Jean-Claude Van Damme's Double Impact is also just as valuable here.
Due to them searching out in the wild, I think that this might have been the road trip that they made in order to get the QZ, and this could be them arriving for the first time. The thing about insurgent groups like this is that Fedra could scan for the infected, but they had no way of telling who was a rebel or a firefly. Thus, they'd still be allowed in, so potentially, this is them just traveling out of the city and then everything kicked off along the way. We know that the area surrounding Boston's full of infected too, and that's my theory time on why she's out on her own like this. Hopefully they address it on the HBO post-release podcast, and if they have, then make sure you drop it in the comments below.
Yeah,
Anna locks
engagement.
herself in a room, and then she busts out a switchblade, which becomes one of Ellie's main weapons in the main game.
Sorry, I know this is a long video, and I'm not going to hit pause too many times, but I got to tell you, during our reaction, when she I crossed the line, I hit the pause button. Be honest, when she took out her knife, were you thinking like she was like going to cut herself
Yeah, I
open?
think we were both on the same page about that. I was like, oh, HBO, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, no, I mean, I figured she was being chased by someone, but like, I was just so in the moment, I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I thought she was going to give herself a C-section.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure we were on the same page. Can I press the play button?
You can press the play button now. Go for it.
She manages to kill the infected, but unfortunately during this she gets bit as she gives birth. The cordyceps probably mutated during this moment, and this is why Ellie ends up being immune. In episode 1, we saw infection times, and due to the bite being on her leg, she has 12 to 24 hours left with her child. Anna names her Ellie, and after the title He jumps the
Good
night to
catch.
see the fireflies arriving. Led by Marlene, this group don't mind shining flashlights as the infected don't actually get alerted by them.
Fun fact, the first time I played Last of Us, I did not realize you could shine a flashlight on them and you'd be okay.
Yeah, no, it took me I don't remember which try it was where I realized I couldn't. I know with runners and stalkers, because they can still see pretty well. Well, I mean, stalkers, half their face are gone. But yeah, with clickers, I don't remember if it was the first time. Definitely the second or third time I was like, oh, I can shine a light on them. But yeah, no, the first time I made sure, like, I cannot have the light anywhere near the clickers.
This was a big thing in the game too, and you did need to turn it off when you were navigating around them. And Marlene goes upstairs to find Anna holding a knife to her neck in case she starts to turn. She hasn't breastfed her either in case she infects her, and she entrusts Marlene with her child. Also, the green jacket that she's wrapped up in is what Ellie later ends up wearing when she's older.
Oh, shit.
Anna also gives her the knife, and this is something that Marlene passed to her in both the show and game. They also mentioned in the American Dream comic that it belonged to Anna, and Marlene promises to look after Ellie.
That totally flew over my head.
It flew over both of her heads. Yeah.
Wow. Well, she doesn't wear the jacket in this episode, right?
I don't think it was this episode. I don't remember her wearing it in this episode.
Okay. Then maybe I might have noticed it then if the show had done it. Oh, God, that completely flew over my head. I blame you. What do I bring you here for if you don't point out these things?
I'm a waste of time. If you need to only bring me on when it's Jean-Claude Van Damme related in the future.
Well, get ready because 2023 is about to take a turn. We got a lot of JCVD content coming
is there
out.
really? Oh, nice.
However, she refuses to kill Anna initially, but realizing that it's her duty, she eventually decides to.
Duty.
This is very much the entire point of Marlene's arc in this entry, and we see how she attempts to put the greater good above what she actually wants to do. Though she swears to protect Ellie, we see how at the end she approves the operation that will kill her and create a vaccine. The finale has all the morally grey areas that the game does, and in that when you're moving through the hospital, you find some of her voice notes talking about the situation. They're pretty long, so I don't just want to spend ages playing them, but there are two recorders that very much give her feelings at the time. The first is her coming back off the reveal that Ellie needs to be killed for the vaccine, and she's angry that she keeps getting tested over and over like this. The second is far more heartfelt, and it's actually addressed directly
to Anna. Yep.
She apologizes for breaking her promise, but says that she has to go through with it because this could save everyone.
God
She
damn.
says that Anna and her daughter will be reunited soon, and also states that she won't kill Joel because he's the only person who may understand how difficult this choice is. Like him, the pair both had to watch over Ellie, but this choice to spare Joel of course damns them all. Now, there's also some really cool imagery in this moment, and Anna ends up giving birth to Ellie beneath an illustration of a tree. Trees have a neural network underground like the infected, and Ellie being born under this carries the symbolism that a network could spring from her that saves humanity. This could also be seen as the Tree of Life, and it's some really nice imagery to add into the scene. Now, you know I hate the next guy, bloody hate him. But Ryan Harry was chatting to him about the episode through the week, and he spotted that Anna sings the song The Sun Always Shines on TV by a-ha. Take On Me by the band was played at the mall, and Ellie also had one of their tapes up in her room. Take On Me is also a song that appears in part 2, and Ellie sings it at one point in the game.
Damn. I was trying to pinpoint what that song was. I was like, that's probably some important Easter egg song, but I have no idea what it is. And it's interesting that they would have this like symbolism moment with Ellie being born under this tree, but then Joel is the fire to that tree. Burns it all down, right?
Yes, no, I agree with you, but I really feel bad for Joel, like having the weight of this whole decision, like just feeling such betrayal. But I always feel like in the moment though that, you know, he's protecting Ellie from like having to feel responsible for any of this. So that's how I view the moment. But in regards to your comment about him being the fire, I was going to say burning. Nah, I don't know what I was going to say, but fire sounds good.
Burn. I mean, yeah, fire burns.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fire works for me too. Fire sounds good.
You don't get to pause videos anymore.
I've lost my privileges.
You've lost all privileges.
Now from here we jump to the present and find Ellie coming off the back of the winter chapter. In the game, they used every season to tell a sort of self-contained story, and we had things like the Tommy and University sections in the fall before Joel's recovery took place over the winter. The final section took place in the spring, and in that they've added a couple of extra sections that we don't get here. We began with Joel and Ellie out on a highway, and the former was the one doing all the talking for once. This is where we begin, and we even have the camper van that you go into in the game and get supplies from. Similar to that, Joel's found stuff inside of it, and he tries to shake Ellie out of the deep feelings that she has.
You gotta tell me, this Chef Boyardee moment, like this image right here has to be, like at the time we're filming this, it's not a meme yet. But this gotta be a meme.
It's gonna be a meme. Oh, for sure.
It's gonna be a meme. Like, look at that.
Definitely gonna be a meme.
People got to get creative and like replace other things in there, like a baby Yoda.
I was gonna say Grogu. Yeah, definitely.
Or a type of toy.
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
Talking like a Buzz Lightyear action figure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Buzz Lightyear. I was thinking Woody actually, but
Similar to that, Joel's found stuff inside of it, and he tries to shake Ellie out of the deep feelings that she has. In the game, she was very much realizing that she was at the end of the road, and that things here were almost over. Yep. It is important to bear in mind that Ellie actually wanted to go through with everything, even if it meant her death in the end. This is why Joel lies to her, as he knows she wanted her life to mean something, which is a line that she also drops in part 2. Now, I'll not spoil too much of that, but little things that help to betray her thoughts I think are important to bring up. Anyway, on the highway, Ellie also notices an advert for a plane, which the show sort of touched upon when they came across a downed one in episode 3. Ellie said that she'd had a dream where she was on one, and after going to the cockpit, she realized no one was flying it. To me, this symbolized her realizing that no one actually had a clue what they were doing, and that the adults she entrusted all along were as directionless as she was. When you're a kid growing up, you think older people have everything together, but when you become one, you realize they've got no idea either. Ellie believed that people like Marlene and Joel would lead her and deal with things, but this episode shows that they're driven by instinct and their own desires. Now, whereas we find Ellie sitting on the back of a truck, the game had her zoning out to an engraving of a deer. This was clearly her remembering all the things that happened for her to meet David, and it calls back to the one that she hunted during the winter. Ellie's also wearing a red shirt at this point, with Joel donning a greyish denim one, which are what both characters wore at this point in the game. And from here, you move through an abandoned quarantine camp that was set up on the early days of the outbreak before going into an underground tunnel. This was
Where's the action scene?
Runners, clickers, and tube bloaters. Little trick for you though, if you sneak through and just stealth it, you can actually avoid fighting all of them, and you just get to the end with Ellie, and it's
that's not fun though.
Baby. Anyway, from here, the pair made their way deeper underground, and they came across a tunnel which had a burst pipe allowing water to seep in. When trying to navigate over a bus, this sprung free, and Joel was trapped in it as it was carried along with the water.
Look at these cheap HBO bastards for not doing this.
Drowning, and with her passed out, Joel had to swim through. He managed to make it through to the surface, which is where he tried to resuscitate her. It's at this point that the fireflies showed up. In the show, they pop up just out of the blue, but we'll talk about that more as we get up to that bit in the story. Anyway, back to the episode, and we see Joel messing about with a backpack on the ground, similar to what you do in the games when you're crafting and checking supplies.
Love it.
Honestly, I think they really recapture the opening of the chapter here, with the highway perfectly mirroring how it is in the game. Now we also get a mention of Joel teaching Ellie the guitar in both the show and game.
They had a guitar in that RV.
You feel that breeze, huh? I tell you, on a day like this, I just sit on my porch, pick away my six string.
It's all smashed up, but got me thinking, maybe I should find one. I haven't played in forever.
Yeah, once we're done with this whole thing, I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar.
In fact, I was thinking maybe I could teach you. I bet you'd be great at it.
I reckon you'd really like that. What do you say, huh?
You want to learn how to play guitar?
I love those scene comparisons there because it really does capture the difference between Pedro Pascal's interpretation and Troy Baker's interpretation. Like, Troy Baker's kind of speaking with this direct confidence, where Pedro Pascal's like, I'm gonna, like, there's a bit of a nervousness to the way he's like, you know,
but
I play guitar. Yeah.
But I like that because Pedro Pascal, I mean, look.
I'm saying I hate it, so thank you for specifying.
I know you hate it. That's why I'm saying I like it. But
I actually like it for people who can't pick up on Andrew's sarcasm.
I do like it because, look, I know the highest form of flattery is imitation, but in this case, I like it when the actors make it their own because I don't
like it when the actors make it their own because I don't. I'm flattering you.
You're good. That was good. I'm actually going to give you props. That was good. No, but I do like how Pedro Pascal does differ, and it is more, in terms of with his interpretation of Joel, like he does have that nervous factor when it comes to how he speaks to Ellie, and also too at this point too, because if you remember in the earlier episodes, he just viewed Ellie as Belly, he just viewed Belly as cargo, and he had a more of a very demanding presence towards her, and if you will, as what you said earlier, more of a confident speaking tone towards her, and so now that it's like his daughter, he's a lot more delicate in the way he talks to her. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I'm flattered.
We'll talk more in the super spoiler section about how this plays into part 2, but it's important to show how Joel's regaining his humanity. He was completely shut off from the world, but now he's becoming a parent once more, and showing interest in picking up a guitar again, and showing Ellie his hobbies. You also see a sign for Salt Lake City, and this was the location that appeared on the map in the university. You really see the pair's relationship flourishing in these moments, with Ellie predicting beat for beat about what they're going to do to scout the area. It's a great moment between Mando and Grogu, and here we head in the game, you ended up going into the Logan James bus station terminal, which I always thought was a reference to Wolverine, as his full name's Logan James Howlett. If you're from Salt Lake though, and I'm sounding like a moron, then make sure you call me a stupid idiot in the comments and be like, no, it's a real place and it's not named after Wolverine. Anyway, they spot a ladder and Joel suggests boosting Ellie up in order to grab it. This is a mechanic that happens in the game, and you'd often throw Ellie up places so that she could drop one down. Now this was something that you'd gone through time and time again, but they changed the dynamics by having Ellie drop the ladder like what happens in the show.
Just like the game. Yep. Oh, that's the
God.
PS5 version where it's louder.
That's actually, it looks like a real ladder they dropped, and that's a pretty dangerous stunt to put an actor in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, everything is usually very well choreographed, but
I mean, this ladder just like, fuck, if you play it back, it's just like...
No, yeah, because it goes
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
Well, no, if that goes wrong, it's like you could break a finger, could hit him in the head. If that's truly, really real and not just a prop, but it does look real. So
Yeah.
I know such a simple stunt, you don't even think about, you really could get hurt on that. Sure, Tom Cruise would have loved to have done that stunt.
Yeah, he's like, I want you to really drop it on my head.
Oh my God.
But you can see, too, he's kind of like
Joel goes up
bracing his
4
head.
flights of steps. I'm not sure how long this giraffe's neck is, but this moment is ripped right out of the game.
And the music.
You see this? Don't scare it.
I won't.
What are you doing?
It's all right.
I'm going to shoot it and use it for meat later.
Scare it.
I won't.
What are you doing?
It's all right.
Hey, fella. Hurry up, come on. Come on.
Can you hurry up? Come on.
Hey there. Hey there. So fucking cool.
I still can't tell if it's a real giraffe or not.
Either way, it looks good.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. Oh, where's she going? Come on. Here, come on. Let's go.
Slow down, kiddo.
Now that was done to show that there was still beauty in the world, even though everything had come tumbling down. Though humanity might be on its last legs, the rest of the animals that live on the planet had continued to thrive.
Noah's
Giraffes in
Ark.
the shown game carry a lot of symbolism with them too, and they're very much meant to represent innocence. Sarah had a giraffe
Yeah,
in her room.
I nailed
the
it.
characters passed one in episode 2. There was one up in the kids' room in episode 6, and they popped up throughout both mediums at several points. In spirituality, a giraffe's also a symbol of grace, and overall, they represent patience. In the game, this was
they
you taking
really?
a breather for the first time in a long while, and here, you just looked over the herd and had a moment to relax.
True story. One time I was at the Los Angeles Zoo, and there was a huge crowd gathered around the giraffes, and one giraffe was trying desperately to do it with another giraffe.
Did you record it?
No, I didn't
Then it
record
didn't happen. Sorry, continue the story.
You are the weirdest person to yes and with. You know that, Andrew?
Sorry. Continue this.
I was trying to tell you a true story where I encouraged giraffes to do it, and suddenly you just interrupt me with this thing.
I'm sorry.
It was a real memory.
Continue.
I'm sure there's actual TikToks. Of it
Continue
doing
the
it.
giraffes doing it.
I'm just saying that's what happens when I see a giraffe. My mind goes to this memory I have when I was, I think, 18 years old.
Is that the story?
Yeah, a version of it.
Okay. Well, now I have something to look forward to when I go to the zoo one day.
Yeah.
I do want to really quickly point out
Whatever you're going to point out is not going to top my giraffe story. I just want everyone here to know what you're going to point out.
Giraffes doing it. How do I top that? But I gotta say, I don't remember after our reaction if I mean, I did mention, and of course I praised Pedro Pascal's acting, but it's the little moments for me, like when he's just staring at Belly, excuse me, and just admiring and like just how much he reminds him of his daughter and how she's become his daughter. It's just, I love little moments of that. It's just, I love where it's, again, where the journey has started, where they began to where we've gotten to now. It's just, it's such a bond and kinship, and I love it so much. And that didn't top his giraffe story.
Giraffe's doing it. I mean,
No, that's
that was an okay
not,
point, but man, sometimes giraffe mate is what I'm trying to get at here.
I'm gonna be watching for that at the zoo next time. And I'm gonna send you that video.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Craig,
finally,
look what I saw.
No way.
Now from here they go to a different part of the roof and we get a scene-for-scene recreation of what happens in the game.
This is why this video is an hour and 45 minutes. Because the show didn't come up with any new scenes.
So, is this everything you were hoping for?
So, is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs.
You called it that they switched places and from the game.
That's
That's a good eye.
Can't deny the view, though.
You can't deny that view.
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
We don't have to do this. I want you to know that.
What's the other option?
Go back to Tommy's. Just be done with this whole damn thing.
What do you mean? What else are we supposed to do?
Nothing. We just go back to Tommy's. We forget about the whole damn thing.
God damn it, when Last of Us is running out of steam and they need to do some type of weird multiverse movie, they really got to do where like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey go into some universe where they get to interact with the Ashley Johnson and the Troy Baker version. As much as it would not work
meta.
now, there's a party that's like, it might be kind of cool to see that happen.
I mean, obviously not different than what I'm about to say, but obviously we got Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker. They were so close to interacting in terms of with Troy Baker, but that is an idea. We should start writing that script soon.
I know we should get on that and watch it get rejected
Right away. Like, what is this?
What is this crap? You clearly don't understand the world of The Last of Us.
Yeah, the supernatural.
After all we've been through.
After all we've been through.
Everything that I've done.
Everything I've done.
It can't be for nothing.
It can't be for nothing.
I want to play this PS5 version so bad.
Now, Joel offering Ellie a chance to go to Tommy is not really the thing that he wants for her, it's what he wants for him. He knows that once he drops her off at the Fireflies, that the relationship's no more, and he's gonna have to go back to Jackson whilst she stays with them. This is his chance to become a father again, so he's giving her this option, but he ends up making the choice anyway at the end when he goes full Rambo on everyone.
Yeah.
And he also says,
Sheep ranch. The moon.
and this is something that he brought up around the campfire in episode 6.
And they go to the
This
moon
was
in the
feature
second
that
game.
He wanted for himself, and we'll talk about how this plays in a part 2 during the spoiler section later on. Heavy spoilers. Heavy spoilers, you bitch. Anyway, Ellie wants to go through and finish what they started, which takes them to a makeshift QZ camp. This too is ripped right out of the PlayStation Classic, though we do get 2 very different emotional moments playing out in both. Both center around Sarah, and in both the show and game, we get Joel explaining what exactly happened. In the series, he says it wasn't Fedra, whereas in the game, it was. Anyway, here's how the explanations differ slightly.
Is this a Fedra thing?
No. Army.
Well, this place takes me back.
How so?
Love it.
It was right after everything went down. I ended up in a triage just like this.
They put these places up all around. The first few days after the outbreak.
And everywhere you looked, you just saw families torn apart. Whole damn world seemed to have turned upside down in a blink.
They had me in one just like this.
With Sarah?
No, she was gone already.
Is that after you lost Sarah?
Yes, it was.
I can't imagine losing someone you love like that. Losing everything that you know. I'm sorry, Joel.
Anyway, in the game at this moment, Ellie ended up handing over a photo of Sarah to Joel. Back with Tommy, he tried to do the same thing, and we learned that he'd returned to Texas and had stopped by their old house, which is where he found it. Joel refused to look at it or acknowledge it, and it showed how much of a closed book that he now was. Ellie revealed that she'd stolen it from Tommy though, and here she attempted to give it back to him. He ended up accepting that he couldn't outrun his past, and it showed that he'd finally moved on from feeling nothing but constant grief and pain. In the show though, he talks about almost ending his own life, and he reveals the scar on his head was self-inflicted. Now this scar was something Ellie asked about on the road all the way back in episode 3.
Yep.
Joel said that someone shot at him and missed, and I wrongly assumed that this scar was from when the soldier shot at him and Sarah.
I just noticed that Pedro's hair grows throughout this season. I've never noticed that. Did you notice that?
His hair grew throughout the season.
Look at this. His hair's definitely longer to show the passing of time. And for some reason, I never noticed that.
Yeah. No,
that's a great attention to detail.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the MCU has also done a good job with doing, not to get into comparison, but there's been times where the MCU has really done a good job with that too. I remember with Captain America Civil War after Bucky, hit Tony Stark in the face, and then Spider-Man Homecoming came out because that film took place very shortly right after, and you could see in the beginning of that he still had that. So little attentions to detail like that really go a long way. So I agree with you. I didn't even notice that. There are certain films though back in the 80s where certain actors, did you ever see the film The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox?
No.
Did you see Cocktail with Tom Cruise?
No.
Jeez, how am I supposed to make a point when you haven't seen any movies? What's your job, man?
I react to them.
Oh, okay. Anyways, really quick, fun story. Obviously, this makes more sense in the passage of time, but there's this funny 80s trope with those two specific films, at least. I don't know if there were other 80s films where this happened, but in those two specific films, I assume because they were filming other films, either the shots got picked up later, they'd have short hair when the scene started, and then later in the same scene, they'd have longer hair. I'm like, what is happening here? So that's interesting that you caught that and I don't, because I usually catch those things. What am I here for? Jean-Claude Van Damme. By the way, make sure you get a t-shirt.
You haven't had any G Fuel, right?
I stole some before I started.
Joel said that he wasn't scared and that he was ready to do it. And in the game, the character actually discussed people that take their own lives. They came across someone, and Ellie says that they took the easy way out, whereas Joel said that it was never easy. Yeah, he goes further into it and says that he wasn't scared, and in fact he was ready. He just hadn't seen the point in living anymore when Sarah died, but he flinched when pulling the trigger, and he still doesn't know why. When we look at it, he lived the next 20 years with nothing really to live for, and that was all until Ellie came along. The ending shows that he simply can't go through that again, and he doesn't care who he has to kill to spare himself of that pain. He's also seen the worst in humanity, and the argument is definitely there whether it's worth sparing one good person for us, like The Last of Us, if you imagine. Nihilists could say that humanity deserved what happened to them, and Joel very much represents the Riley mind state of wanting to spend whatever time he has left with the person he cares about. Ellie then says time heals all wounds, but he says it wasn't that did it. Ellie has saved him, and in return he does what he sees as saving her, and thus saving himself. It's kind of pick your poison on what version you prefer over this or the game.
They're both great.
And I'm a diehard fan of the latter, but I actually think that it worked better in the show.
Yes,
I
agree.
Enlightened by some puns.
It's a necessary point.
People are making apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow.
People are making apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow. Too soon.
Too soon?
No, it's topical.
A moon rock tastes better than an earthly rock.
Oh, I love this one. Moon rocks taste better than Earth rocks. Why?
Because it's meteor.
Because they're meteor.
That's terrible.
Oh, fuck you. That was actually good.
What did the green grape say to the purple grape?
Breathe, you idiot.
That's so stupid.
What did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breathe, you idiot.
However, the fun is spoiled by a Firefly flashbang. Might not be a flashbang, I'm not a weapons expert, and every time I get it wrong, people kick off. So yeah, if it's not, call me an idiot in the comments below and make sure you get those comments up. Anyway, in a scene that's reminiscent of Sarah waking up in episode 1, we cut to some blinds flapping back and forth before we find Joel in a hospital bed. Windows are very important in The Last of Us, and one was used on the menu screen, with a similar setup for this being used at the end of episode 3. Joel initially believes that he sees blood, but this then forms into a firefly shape, foreshadowing what's to come. Now from here, we get a scene that riffs on the game with
I
Joel
love
and Marlene
that.
talking.
Welcome to the Fireflies. Welcome to the Fireflies. Sorry about that. They didn't know who you were. You got hit pretty hard. Patrol didn't know who you were.
And Ellie?
She's all right. They brought her back.
Where's Ellie?
She wasn't hurt. Not even a scratch. She's mostly worried about you. You came all this way. How'd you do it? I had 5 men whose only job was to protect me. I still almost got killed. How'd you do it?
It was her. She fought like hell to get here.
It was all her. She fought like hell to get here.
She would have been dead on day 1.
Maybe it was meant to be.
I lost most of my crew crossing the country. I pretty much lost everything. We lost half our crew crossing the country. But I owe you. We all owe you.
Just take me to her.
You don't have to worry about her anymore. We'll take care
I
of her.
worry. Just let me see her, please.
I can't. She's being prepped for surgery. You can't. She's being prepped for surgery.
What surgery?
The hell do you mean, surgery?
The doctors tell me the cordyceps, the growth inside her, has somehow mutated. Our doctor, he thinks that the cordyceps in Ellie has grown with her since birth. It's why she's immune. Once they remove it, they'll be able to reverse engineer a vaccine. It makes normal cordyceps think that she's cordyceps. It's why she's immune. A vaccine.
But it grows all over the brain.
Cordyceps grows inside the brain.
It does. It does.
Find someone else.
There is no one else.
It's so interesting watching specifically
Merle Dandridge.
yeah, like doing this because she does do like a slightly different shade of her performance
Yeah.
here. You could feel more in the live action one. Like she's probably had a really tough conversation and she's had to shut herself off from caring. So she has to be a little bit more like cold about it all.
Yeah.
Where here in the game, you get more hints that this is hard for her. You know, it's just fascinating to see like the same actor do both the game and the live action and still bring something different to the live action when the dialogue is very close to being the same thing.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that while we were reacting to it, and just now I'm like, it's got to be such an interesting dilemma as an actress because you don't usually play the same role in the same medium like this,
Unless you're James Earl Jones,
unless you're
Lion King.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Touche. Yeah. But that's an interesting dilemma to have to be in. Like, okay, I mean, I gotta say a lot of the same lines of dialogue, but I don't want to play this the exact same way because I don't want to come off as imitating myself. So, did you want to say something else?
I just wanted to touch your nose.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you were gonna show me where.
Find someone else.
There is no one else.
Take me to her. You take me to her right now!
Stop.
I get it.
I get it.
Please, you don't understand.
I do. But whatever it is you think you're going through right now is nothing to what I have been through. I was there when she was born.
She's more hollow in the live action, you know?
Promised.
Which makes sense.
I knew her since she was born. I promised her mother I would look after her.
Then why are you letting this happen?
Because this isn't about me. So I do understand. I'm the only one who understands. There is no other choice here. I have no other choice.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that bullshit.
March him out of here. He tries anything, shoot him. Walk him out to the highway, leave him there with his pack. He tries anything, shoot him.
They also add in some extra lines of dialogue explaining how and why Ellie is immune. As we learn in episode 2, the cordyceps work almost like a hive mind, with there being vast wires of them underground. This very much extends to how they work with the immunity too, and they see her cordyceps as normal, so they don't attack or multiply. These chemical messengers being replicated could end up being a cure, and thus Marlene sees Ellie as a ray of light. Now there are certain things that come with this, and if you ever get into talking about whether Joel was right or wrong, you'll run into people who say the vaccine wouldn't have worked anyway, and that there was a chance it could fail. There's definitely that possibility too, though the second game does make it way clearer. Either way, the Fireflies having this cure could have completely shifted the power balance on the planet, and they would very much become the rulers of Earth, deciding who got immunity and who didn't.
What we were talking about.
They're as cruel as the rest of the groups we've encountered, and as we know, they completely hate Fedra.
Well, you obviously give the vaccine to the people who can afford it. Duh.
Whoever has the most rations.
Has the most guards. God, if we want to get back on track, capitalism. That's what you do in an apocalypse.
Firefly Pharmaceuticals.
There's got to be a way to profit off of the vaccine. So, you know, I think the pharmaceutical industry getting that back on the rise would be your first order of business.
Definitely. Joel, or Pedro Pascal's character of Joel, he ruined that for all of us because I want to see that in Last of Us. I don't care about Ellie. I just want to see the Fireflies with their vaccine starting a pharmaceutical company and exploiting capitalism in that way. That's really what I want to see.
Fly Aid is what they would call it. Open 24 hours.
They're also complete heads, and who knows whether they'd even be able to replicate it at scale. I think whenever I've played through this section on the game as well, I've always thought that the big thing Marlene didn't do that she should have is let Joel and Ellie say their goodbyes.
I agree.
As soon as she got into the hospital, she was pretty much scanned and rushed to surgery, and there wasn't that chance where Joel could make his peace with what was happening. They wanted the cure as soon as possible, and whether that's to gain power or save people, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Now, Marlene says that she was there when she was born, but she's very much sacrificing her inner feelings to do what she sees as being best for the planet. What I love about the ending is that there's no right or wrong answer, and you can fully see Joel as being the bad guy. Had people not played as him or watched him in the show, then I think that would definitely be the case too. On paper, this is a man who stormed a hospital and used it as a shooting gallery so that he could kidnap a girl and lie to her about what happened. These aren't the hallmarks of a hero, but I can also see why people don't like Marlene either. Had Joel let them do it, they could have held the world to ransom, and though I don't think stopping them from doing that was his intention, there are questions to be asked. Now, in addition for the show, Marlene instructs her guards to give him Ellie's switchblade, and this carries a lot of significance. Anna gave it to Marlene at the beginning, and I very much view this as her trying to get rid of the girl she's going to carry every time she looks at it. This item brought with it a promise that Marlene's gone back on, and her giving it to Joel very much reminds him of what he's fighting for. Now, she did try her best, to be fair, and she even enrolled Ellie in Fedra so that she'd be far away from the Fireflies. Still though, her immunity brought them together. Marlene now sees Ellie as being a hope for humanity. The blade is of course so he can survive, but Joel's gonna too remember her every time he looks at it as well. We get an added shot that also wasn't in the source material, with a tear rolling down Marlene's face to show how difficult this was. Now, it is also possible that she suspected Ellie was immune due to the birth, and this is why she wasn't immediately shot when she revealed she was infected. We don't really find out how Ellie ended up with the Fireflies, but it's possible that she went directly to Marlene after hearing about her from Riley. Now, in the game, Joel was taken out by one guard in this scene, however, here he's escorted by two, but he still manages to get the upper hand. He stops at a sign before he hits the stairwell, and this is so he can see what floor she's on.
I love how in this shot, it's just like so convenient that, okay, like the production design was like, make everything else kind of like dirty and washed out, but really clean up the number 4 floor signs. That way the audience can read it right away.
It's film and TV. Of course, there's going to be pot conveniences.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not my brother whose channel you go on who would be really vehemently enraged over a filmmaking decision. I respect what they did here.
It's pretty clean while the rest is very dirty.
Yeah, we only need to worry about this one floor here.
Yeah.
And then makes his move by killing them both. Such a good moment, and he interrogates the god like what we get here.
I ain't got time for this.
What the fuck you doing? Keep walking.
The fuck are you doing? Keep walking. I said keep walking.
I said keep walking. Where was the operating room?
Where is she?
I ain't got time for this. Where?
Fuck you. I don't have time for this.
Where? Top floor, the far end.
Now he takes his knife back along with his backpack and switches into cold Terminator mode.
Hey, that's
Talking
what
about
you
this last
said.
week with the interrogation scene
That's
there,
what you
and how
says.
When Ellie's in danger, he won't
Credit
stop
where
at
credit is
anything to
due.
save her. There's no line he won't cross, no one he won't kill, and he mercilessly moves through the halls, firing at people even if they surrender. This bit was so intense in the game too, when you pretty
I
much
love
just
this
worked
bit.
your way through the hospital, killing everyone that you came across. I really think it's a beautiful montage, even if it's horrific. I got goosebumps seeing this play out.
It's what you
said.
That's
Did
what
he
you
see our
eventually hit the
reaction?
children's
Yeah, you
ward,
pervert.
and you can catch the paintings that they had on the wall, which are perfectly recaptured in the show. You also have rooms off to the side, and this is where you'd find the recorders and so on. Like in the game, Joel steps through the main door, and he then sees Ellie about to be operated on.
I won't let you take her. I won't let you take her.
Now this character becomes very important later on, and we do get some focus on him as Joel leaves carrying
Lingering
Ellie.
shot.
He leaves the nurses alive. Hey, you're a better man than me, Joel, because I was smashing them like the like button.
Ha
Now he ends up getting to the elevator.
Wow, he didn't point out
You
who the nurses
didn't point
were.
out who the nurse was.
Abby, Laura Bailey, Paul.
Here.
Also, too, I was surprised.
People probably didn't even. Most people probably didn't make it that far in our video to hear us.
Yeah.
That'd
Oh
be
no,
funny.
I told you. Like in our reaction, I know for a fact that we're gonna have comments. I can't believe you guys didn't mention it was Laura Bailey. It's like, okay, clearly you didn't get to that part of our video.
You done effed up, Paul.
Yeah, no, but luckily for us, you literally paused it right on the part where, as we began our discussion after I had done my bit and then you got into your spiel. I noticed a name. I was like, oh, okay, so I was right. Abby was.
He might point it out in the spoiler section. Maybe we shouldn't get ahead of
Oh
ourselves.
yeah, sorry, Paul, if you did point that out.
Yeah, sorry, just in advance in case.
Yeah, but
if not, condemnation.
So yeah, guys, before comment police coming to our video here, what happened is that Paul is a friend of mine, and because he's seen that we've been reacting to his videos, he gifted us with letting us get early access to his video ahead of time. Then, after we were done filming, I was like, I should probably let Paul know about this Easter egg not being in the video. If you go to his channel, it's in there now. Not trying to get credit or something like that. I'm just telling you why in this particular reaction it's not in here. And really the credit goes to Andrew for noticing it too.
But and he didn't mention though the parallels of the Gustavo Santaolalla music. You remember the music that we love when he's carrying Ellie out in the game versus when he goes full on Terminator mode. So he did forget to do that unless he's going to.
Yeah, Paul, all your work is wasted now. Waste of time, I say.
And in the game, he's chased by soldiers, but I think it makes more sense to have him just make his escape without them breathing down his neck.
I agree.
It's very much done in the game to keep up the tension, whereas here, he's clearly internally struggling with what's going on. Now, the ending of The Last of Us is something that stuck with me since I first played the game back in 2013. Killing doctors like this is clearly crossing the line, but you could see things from Joel's point of view as he'd been playing as him for the last 10 hours or so. As Joel leaves, he carries Ellie out, and this is symbolic for a number of reasons. It's exactly the same as how he carried Sarah at the start of the series, and Ellie very much represents the daughter that he lost. He also gets put in a similar situation to how he was with Sarah at the beginning. Whereas we had a soldier standing with a gun drawn ready to shoot them, we see that Marlene now stands between him and the life that he should have. Marlene tries to talk him out of it, and she says that if Ellie doesn't die for something like this, then she'll no doubt die for nothing because of the way the world is. The infected could tear her apart, raiders could kill her, and we've seen throughout the season how many threats lie around each corner. Joel says it's
Especially
not up for Marlene
infected.
to decide, but that's very much the case with Joel as well. However, Marlene correctly says that they both know what Ellie would do, which is confirmed later on in the story by the character herself.
Love
So
that
just
scene.
like in the game, we get the resolution of the scene playing alongside Joel and Ellie driving out of the area. Let's play these scenes together so you can see how they compare.
Can't keep her safe forever.
You can't save her. Even if you get her out of here, then what?
How long till she's torn apart by infected or murdered by raiders?
How long before she's torn to pieces by a pack of clickers? That is, if she hasn't been raped and murdered first.
Maybe.
Jeez.
But it isn't for you to decide.
Or you.
It ain't for you to decide.
It's what she'd want. And you know it.
So what would she decide, huh? Because I think she'd want to do what's right.
Look. You can still do the right thing here.
Even after what you've done, we can still find a way.
She won't feel anything.
I love that transition. It's perfect.
It's a good fake out.
Yeah.
What the hell am I wearing?
Just take it easy. Drugs are still wearing off.
All right, you're with me. Take it slow. The drugs are still wearing off.
What happened?
We found the fireflies.
It was with the fireflies, and then
Turns out there's a whole lot more like you, Ellie.
Turns out there's a whole lot more like you. People that are immune.
See the pain in his eyes.
People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. Ain't done 'em a damn bit of good, neither.
Dozens of them. The doctors, they couldn't make any of it work.
They've actually... They've stopped looking for a cure.
They've actually... They've stopped looking for a cure.
I'm taking us home.
Raiders attacked the hospital. I barely got you out of there.
She turned around there, too.
Wait! Wait. Let me go.
My name's Brian.
You just come after her.
You just come after her.
Now, an important addition here is a line about raiders attacking the hospital. I always wondered why Ellie didn't question why they got out of there so quickly without saying goodbye, but this line helps to add why they had to leave straight away. It also means that if they go back there, they can see the bodies, and this lines up with the idea that they were attacked by an unknown group.
Yes.
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
Wow.
But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces.
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah!
Wow.
Bah! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility.
We see Joel mercilessly shooting Marlene, and her wound is a repeat of the last time with her getting hit in the side. This shows just how far Joel is willing to go, and she's meant to be a sympathetic figure in this moment.
You need
She's
to have
clearly
a
badly
bulletproof
wounded,
vest.
But Joel isn't willing to take any chances, and he kills her because there's a chance she'll still come for Ellie again. Marlene has very much given up her humanity in deciding to sacrifice Ellie for the vaccine, whereas Joel has found his once more through regaining a daughter. Now the car breaks down by the side of the road, and we get a similar thing to what happens in the game. Ellie looks at her bite mark, and she very much views this as the thing that was driving her, but now it no longer really serves a purpose beyond protecting her from getting infected. Joel says they have a 5-hour hike ahead of them, which they joke about managing, and this is a callback to episode 3. He also discussed having a 5-hour hike then too, and like the game at this point, he starts to talk about Sarah and how the pair would have been friends.
Don't think I ever told you, but Sarah and I used to take hikes like this.
Well, Sarah and I used to hike like this all the time.
I think the two of you would have been good friends. I think you really would have liked her.
Anyway, I bet you would have liked her back.
Now we can see conflict within Ellie, and she's clearly weighing up whether to question Joel as he spouts off stories about his daughter. Just like the game, they arrive overlooking Jackson, but here we see it carries the updated design from part 2 with a giant wall surrounding it. The pair look over it, and we get Ellie asking the question in a scene that's pulled right out of the game.
Not much further now.
Just a little bit further now.
Hey, wait.
Hey, wait.
Back in
Back
Boston?
in Kansas City, you asked me about the first time I killed someone.
I got it.
Back in Boston?
Oh, see, there you go.
Back when I was bitten? I wasn't alone.
When I got bit in the mall, I wasn't on my own. My best friend was there.
My best friend was there.
And she got bit too.
And she got bit too.
We didn't know what to do, and she says, we can just wait it out, be all poetic, and just lose our minds together.
We didn't know what to do. So... she says... let's just wait it out.
I can't wait to play this game again.
Do you have it on PS5?
Yeah.
And then she did. And I had to.
I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die.
Her name was Riley. And she was the first to die.
And then it was Tess,
Sam, Henry.
and then Sam.
And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
That's not on you.
I know it.
None of that is on you.
You don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving.
But if you just keep going, you find something new to fight for. And maybe that's not what you
Swear
want.
to me.
And you, no matter what, you keep finding something to fight for. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear right now.
Swear
but
to
it's-
me.
Swear to me.
Swear
that
to
everything you
me.
said about the Fireflies is true.
Swear
That's
to
from
me
Superman,
that
right?
everything
Yeah.
that you said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Love the music
I
there.
swear.
Okay.
Okay?
This of course goes over Riley, and the line about losing their minds together is a reference to this.
We could just be all poetic and shit and lose our minds together.
It also cements the survivor's guilt that Ellie feels, which is reoccurring here once more. Ellie is once more living whilst people are dying that she could have helped, and she bears the burden of it. She's very much wanting to know that there isn't another side to it, and that all the deaths meant something. Riley, Tess, Henry and Sam all died so that she could get to the hospital, but their lives were very much wasted in her eyes because of Joel's actions. He swears that everything he said was the truth, and Ellie pauses and then says okay. This is a line that's always stuck with me, as she's not really saying whether she believes it or not. She's just saying, okay, I will accept that version of events.
I never
Rather
thought
than
she believed him.
contesting it or asking further questions, she's happy to live in this reality where her father figure isn't a monster. In her mind, she's going along with it that he tried his best to get her to the Fireflies, but Raiders attacked and it didn't work out. Now, did he do the right thing? Well, that's definitely up for debate, but deep down he knows that it's not what Ellie wanted, which is cemented by the fact that he has to lie to her. Had it been what Ellie was really after, then he wouldn't have hid the truth, and he doesn't want to seem like a selfish monster in his new daughter's eyes. He wants to be the father figure in her life that she's been craving all along, and he knows that telling the truth will completely shatter this illusion. Now this works both ways as well, with Ellie not so much believing the lie, but she accepts it. Since playing the first game, I've always referred to it as being the godfather of gaming, and that's mainly down to how the ending plays out. In that seminal film, Michael's girlfriend Kay arrives at his home, and his sister bursts in and accuses him of murdering her husband.
Yeah.
Michael denies all this, and this is because he's attempting to retain the idea in Kay's mind that he's a good man who isn't like the rest of the family.
I'm a good guy.
However, we end with the mobsters coming and clearly treating Michael like a mafia head, and the door is then shut on her as she realizes the truth deep down. That's very much the case with Ellie too, and she's now going on to a new life in Jackson with Joel, believing that he's not someone who's just doomed to humanity.
Really quick, that was a very good callback in regards to Godfather, but we got to give credit to me and not Paul that he didn't do the Blade callback reference that I made at the beginning of the episode. Like, where you at, Paul, on that? Just saying. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Now you can hear me better. So, I'll repeat and say that again. That was a very good callback on Godfather right there, which I give full credit to Paul, but I'm going to give credit to myself. Yeah, keep laughing. I'm going to give credit.
We've been able to hear you this whole time.
Yeah. I'm going to give credit to myself on what happened at the beginning in our reaction we talked about when Ellie's mother, Anna, played by, of course, Ashley Johnson, got bit. It reminded me so much of Blade, the parallels there. So I don't see you coming up with that, Paul. So where you at?
You nailed the third time, Andrew. I'm proud of you. You want to do a fourth time?
Nah, I'm good.
You sure? I want to give credit to myself here for coming up with the Blade thing.
Belly, just saying, Belly, HBO Max, where you at? By the way, in that PS5 version, could you tell the certain doctor character that we won't talk about until the spoiler section, they have updated it to make it look more like, as opposed to when you play it on PS4, PS3.
They Tamora Morrisoned him.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
you get what I mean?
Yes, totally, actually, yes.
Now, you can totally see things from Joel's side too, and I think that had anyone else been given Ellie, then we likely would have had a different ending. Marlene and the rest of the Fireflies were happy to sacrifice her, but the fact that Joel was someone who never got over his daughter makes him the worst person to be escorting her. He sees the similarities and eventually comes to believe that Ellie is very much his daughter, which is cemented by certain things that he does. He calls her baby girl at the end of episode 8, and this is a nickname that he also used with Sarah. Joel also glances at his watch at several points, and these all happen in moments in which he sees similarities in them. Ellie just playing soccer with Sam causes him to do it, and it's laced throughout lots of aspects of the show. They did remove the moment from the scene at the end, in which he does it too, but it's an important thing to bear in mind as it was there originally. Joel needs to find a reason to live, and it's also cemented by the fact that you find something to survive for. When he lost Sarah, he wanted to give up and attempted to end his own life. However, he must have had hope deep down that things would work out, which is why he flinched. He's now found the thing to make him whole again, and he'll do whatever he can to keep Ellie at his side, even if it dooms The Last of Us. It's a chilling way to close out the season, and I'm so glad that they kept the scenes the same.
Yeah, thank God.
It was perfect the first time I saw it, and I still think that it's perfect now. Now that closes out the episode, and for the next part of the video, we're going to be talking about the consequences of this and what it leads to in Season 2. Well, Part 2, but it's probably going to be Season 2. So there are major spoilers here, and with the first season following the game so closely, I can imagine that Season 2 will follow the second game pretty closely as well. So if you don't want to know what happens, then I highly recommend you turn off now.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Spoilers ahead.
Red rum.
I mean, heavy spoilers. Like, people will be mad.
You're covering your eyes.
Okay. Right, well, let's get into the super spoiler section. You can't get mad. You promised you wouldn't. Right, so the first thing that we need to talk about is the fact that Joel dies early on in the second game. He's killed by Abby, who we discover was the daughter of the doctor that Joel kills in order to take Ellie. We learn that for years Abby trained her body to peak perfection so that she could track down Joel and get vengeance. This happens as well, and along with a group of people, she heads out from Seattle to Jackson. Joel saves her from a horde of the infected, but she still ends up killing him, which is what sets Ellie off on a quest to avenge him. That's pretty much the plot of the second game without getting too much into spoilers. But yeah, Pedro Pascal might not be long in the second season. Anyway,
I do wonder if in the second season they'll add more flashbacks with Joel, and if Pedro Pascal was aware of this before he signed the contract.
There's no doubt in my mind he was aware.
I mean, have you heard the stories of him signing on to the show?
No. Actually,
he's like how he was in London and he got the call and he was told he could read the scripts, and he was like fighting to get the job. And, like, he'd never played the game or even I'm not even sure he had heard of the game before.
Oh,
like he casually mentioned to, like, I think his nephew and said he's going to be like trying to get this role in this thing called The Last of Us, and his nephews were like, "You got to get this role." So like, was he fully aware? I'm sure he found out, like, eventually, but like before he said yes, did he know Joel was gonna die?
You just, to me, the answer is yes from the story you just described. Because if his nephews were that into it, once he accepted the role, I'm sure his nephews at the minimum had that conversation. If Neil Druckmann and the producers and all that didn't, I find it fascinating that Pedro Pascal has to fight for a role, though. He's such a freaking amazing actor. I get it. This is probably a very sought out role for actors. I just feel like Pedro Pascal at this point, he's so damn proven. Like,
I mean, it was down to, like, they sought him out, but it's like they usually seek out a few people.
Right. Just like we got to screen test you with the actor, with you and a couple other guys. Did they say who the other actors were that were possibly testing out, or just only Pedro?
I think Finn Wolfhard. You know Finn Wolfhard?
No, I don't. Oh, wait, is that
fantastic actor?
Wait, was
Finn Wolfhard? You should look up Finn Wolfhard. I think Finn Wolfhard would have been a perfect pick.
Are you making a joke?
I think Finn Wolfhard would have outdone Pedro Pascal. I'm surprised you don't know Finn Wolfhard.
I don't.
He would have been, and Noah Schnapp too.
Oh God.
Do you know who that is?
No, but I'm thinking these are punny names that you're
They're
making.
not punny names. They're real actors.
Really?
Noah Schnapp. You don't know Noah Schnapp?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, yeah, he would have been perfect. Joe Keery. Do you know who that is?
No, but these don't sound like...
Joe Keery would have been perfect.
These don't sound like real people. They sound like names that you're making fun of me of.
They're not. They're real people. You should look them up. Caleb McLaughlin.
Nope, never heard of these.
Oh, yeah, they had like at least 5 other people who I think would have been maybe better than Pedro Pascal.
Okay. Sounds good.
Do me a favor. Never look them up.
Yeah, I wasn't going to.
The next thing I want to talk about is the line about the guitar in the RV. Part 2 opens on Joel holding it, and this is a very important item that reoccurs throughout. We know that in between this part and part 2 that Ellie learns to play it, and she picks it up and strums away at several points in the game. The ending of it very much
waste of time
around it, and after failing to kill Abby and being let go, Ellie ends up living on a ranch with her girlfriend Dina and also her son. This is a sheep farm like what Joel said he wanted in the season, and with this added context, it's very much Ellie living Joel's dream. We also get references to the moon coming with a flashback showing Joel taking Ellie to a museum for her birthday. They end up sitting inside a shuttle and pod, and with a helmet and headphones on, Ellie imagines going through liftoff. Now back to the guitar, and after Ellie experiences constant PTSD flashbacks, she ends up leaving to hunt Abby down after Tommy tells her where she was spotted. Ellie ends up finding her in Santa Barbara, completely disheveled, after being captured by a group of slavers known as the Rattlers. She ends up saving her, but as she goes to sail off, Ellie once more gets a PTSD flashback and she forces Abby to fight her. During this fight, Abby bites off her fingers, and though Ellie gets the upper hand, she decides to let her go. This is because she remembers Joel, and she learns that she could forgive him, and thus forgives Abby too. Anyway, people kick off about it.
So my favorite part about that is leading up to that fight with Abby, Ellie slaughters like a gazillion people in Santa Barbara.
The Rattlers.
Yeah, it's just annihilates so many people.
Yeah.
And then when she finally gets to Abby, she's like, no, Joel wouldn't want me to get revenge.
This is now when it's time. It's convenient timing to now forgive.
But I think that's why in the show there's not just like endless body counts because shit like that will pop up. And there's also different contexts as they have Lev with Abby, which is a reflection of Joel and Ellie. So
yeah. No, definitely.
Someone's got to take care of this Lev kid because you know that Ellie's not going to do it.
Now, Ellie returns home to find that Dina has left, but that she's left her some of her belongings, including Joel's guitar. Ellie starts to strum this and she attempts to play Future Days by Pearl Jam, which is the song that Joel played to her at the start of the game. Because of her missing fingers, she's unable to do this, and she very much lost everything, including a piece of Joel, in this quest for revenge. Now that closes out the game, and we get an open window similar to how the scene with Sarah started in Season 1. I also imagine that the hospital scene will return, but we'll get this from a new perspective like what we did in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
Abby rushed in to find her father dead in the wake of Joel's rampage, and I was actually surprised that they didn't at least hint to her in the final episode. I still think Season 2 will play out like how it did in the game, but maybe they just didn't have her cast yet, or
That's the thing.
maybe they
That's
just
why
didn't want to have the conversation around the finale.
But see, that's the thing. Like, that takes me back to the episode where we got in Jackson with Dina. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I pressed the space bar. But it takes me back to the it takes me back to the episode with Dina. Like, do you think? Two questions. One, do you think?
Answers.
You're probably gonna answer sarcastic, so I'm not gonna know if you're being honest or not.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. Damn you. I can't believe I fell for that. Do you think the actress that they had, I know that wasn't like, she had no speaking lines. It was literally a 2-second cameo, but do you think that actress is actually going to play Dina? And also for Dr. Jerry Anderson, he was wearing a face mask. So it's like I know they put in the cast, they put his name in there because obviously there was an actor there, but do you think that actor's going to be playing Jerry, or do you think they purposely covered his face, which I know they did in the game as well, but hey, we have to have an actor here for this specific scene, but we haven't cast the actor yet, so let's just since it's going to be a mask covering his face, like we can get away with that one, but we don't want to do this with Abby because this is a very integral role that we need. Like, what are you thinking? Sarcastic.
First off, I think it's a smart move not to show any of Abby because I think that would have overshadowed the entire conversation online. And especially when it's really hard to protect spoilers, everyone would have been like, "That's Abby. Who's Abby? Well, Abby's the one who kills." Like it would just been
that's true.
It would
that's a good
spread
point.
like wildfire.
Yeah.
And as far as the one with the surgeon,
I doubt that he's going to be the actor. Finn Wolfhard.
They should get Finn Wolfhard to play Abby. Is what I'm saying.
And also, don't forget to purchase t-shirts.
Yeah, shopsteredition.org.
Maybe they just didn't want to have the conversation around the finale being a very, very controversial one. Because Abby's a very controversial figure. The face model for her still gets sent hate mail and stuff, and yeah, people are going to be very mad, I think. Anyway, that's all the spoiler Easter eggs in the entry. Now, with The Last of Us first season wrapping up, I thought I'd give my final thoughts on it as a whole. If you're asking whether I think the game is show is best, then I have to go with the former. I think the game is probably going to remain my favourite of all time for most of my life, and I thought it would be pretty difficult for the series to top this. However, the series started off really strong, and after those first 3 episodes, it crossed my mind a number of times that I actually thought that this was better than the game. The characterization, changes, cast, action scenes and drama worked really well, leading it to being such a strong start. However, I do feel as we got into the latter parts of the season that the formula became very clear, and every episode sort of slotted into us meeting a new character, having an adventure with them, and then watching them die. Happened across the board, and I think that the latter episodes sort of lost their variety. Though I enjoyed episodes 6 and 7, I think putting them back to back made it feel like the story was dragging a lot, and if you compare things to how those moments are handled in the game, there's a lot more variety. They broke things up with the infected and raiders attacking, whereas outside of the ones that popped up at the end of each episode, you didn't really have those dynamics. There's so many stellar infected scenes as well that didn't make the cut in the series, which I think is a shame because the clicker moments in episode 2 are handled so well.
Yes,
I wanted to see this translated to things like the hotel basement, the tripwire trap as they arrive at Bill's, the sewer escape, and pretty much every section of the game. In every episode, the thing they tended to cut was the infected moments, and I think that's probably going to be a turn-off for general audiences who are sold on this being a big post-apocalypse show.
I think what's missing when people say like the action or clickers is that The Last of Us at the end of the day is a survival horror drama.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it really seemed to dial back the horror side of things. The survival horror side of things was something that I really felt is a staple to the game.
Because when they actually did do those things, they executed like
it was scary. It was genuinely like scary.
And we kept saying, like, even in our reactions, like, oh my God, they've brought the infected to life, and like I genuinely feel scared for these characters. But it's also like we're not in control right now like we are in the video game. So it's like obviously if you know the game, you know what's going to happen in terms of that, but still you genuinely feel scared for these characters, especially at the point where it's live action, you're not in control anymore. But I agree. I wish just a little bit more, but again, they got the most important stuff down. Joel and Ellie, they got the characters down. They got the psychological aspects down. They got a lot of
It only bothers me when I'm reminded of it. Like when I see a video like this and I'm like, damn, those sewer scenes were freaking intense, weren't they? Like, yeah. Then I'm like, would have been nice to have that. It's like, that's what I'm most bothered is when I'm seeing something that reminds me of it.
And, well, yeah, I agree with you. I was saddened that one, but in notice, unlike Greg, I didn't complain that scene was cut out. And I know I was accused of being...
Jesus, way to throw me under the bus.
I mean, you made me look like an idiot like 10 minutes ago with the whole Finn Wolfhard and all that other stuff. So, but anyways, point I'm making is...
How did I make you look like an idiot?
I made myself look like an idiot. Sorry.
That's right. Now I've especially made you look like an idiot.
Anyways, point I'm making is I literally had no complaints for the most part about them cutting out certain action sequences. And I thought I made a logical explanation of why I was a little upset that one specific one, because I thought it was character-driven action and it was also storytelling-driven action, and also it was the buildup of the trust. Are you getting your tricep workout?
Yeah, you keep.
I think it was the building of trust between Ellie and David and all that. Like even for people who had never played the game, that's why for that. And again, I didn't need 20 or 30 minutes of clickers like David and Ellie like fighting off clicker. Even if it would have been like. Even if it would have been like 5 or 6 minutes, even like again, they didn't. You could even have taken out the bloater for all I care. I just wanted to see a few minutes of that. Again, that was the only sequence that truly bothered me personally for the whole season of taking out an action sequence. Because all the other ones, would I have liked to have seen them in? Absolutely. But they weren't necessary to what was happening on the show. And from that, again, visually, would have loved to have seen it. But it didn't hurt the storyline. Got that out of my system.
Imagine when the camera's not rolling.
Oh my God. I got to start working out with water bottles. Damn, I'm weak in comparison.
Oh, generally.
I got to start doing 21s.
Yeah, baby. I do 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
She's 21.
Oh, okay. My bad. That's a good point. That's a good save.
There's probably people who've just seen the series that think, the game, it's probably going to be boring, but trust me, if you pick up and play that, you'll understand how much was missing. They did clearly lean more in towards the drama side of things, and whether that's for budget reasons or not, it did pale in comparison to me. I just felt like some of the things that I think of first when thinking of the game were exercised, and this was all in favor so that we
didn't get listen mode all season.
I think the last 2 episodes really went out on a high, and I think that the finale especially was really well done. I was worried when I saw the runtime that it wouldn't deliver.
I agree.
It really did, and watching Joel walk through the hospital like that really struck a chord with me. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but I was so glad that he was also doing it.
Yep.
The Last of Us is a complex show, and though it did falter at some points, I think this overall was a brilliant adaptation for what's a truly stellar game. Now if I'm scoring it, then the game for me is a 10 out of 10, with the show coming in at about an 8. Some brilliant moments in this, but yeah, to me it set a high bar early on, dropped off a bit, and then picked up at the end. So yeah, it felt slightly short of what I was expecting, and if you haven't played the game, then I'm sure you enjoyed it way more than I did. I did still enjoy it. Don't kick off. Don't start kicking off.
You gave it an 8, Paul! You hate it!
So good. It's difficult to not be like, well, I wish they did this. You know what I'm saying, yeah? And if you love the game, I'm sure you'll have similar feelings. Anyway, season 2 next, and that's going to be a very interesting.
Oh my God, I can't wait to do
we
season
will be back
2
for that, definitely. But yeah, huge thank you for rocking with me for the last 9 weeks. I know there's been lots of great breakdowns out there doing really good things, and what I've tried to do with this to kind of differentiate them is make this the obsessive gamers breakdown, where we go as in-depth as possible, point out all the most minuscule stupid things, and people who are obsessed over this game, I hope you've enjoyed that too. Anyway, I'd obviously love to hear your thoughts on the season, the game, and also if there's anything we missed.
I'm proud of you, Paul.
Paul.
You did it, Paul. Way to go, Paul. Call Paul.
But
Paul, call Paul.
I understood that reference. But Paul, we still got to call you out in the 2 big ones. You missed.
Yeah.
What was it? The drinking reference with Ellie about Riley said it still tastes like shit or whatever she said. And then the other one, Laura Bailey is the nurse. Like, Paul, that's 2 you missed, man.
Get your shit together, Paul.
Come on.
Get your shit together.
But yeah, no, this season was a fun ride. Again, I'm still surprised Paul hated it with the 8 out of 10 rating. So, but I know you enjoyed it.
I'm like a 9 out of 10.
I'm
like a
right.
9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was gonna be really. Yeah, it's like a 9.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things you're talking about with just like, again, feeling the terror and the horror of the infected and other little things might have just scooched it up just a little bit. But like, I'm right around that 9-ish, 9.5 range as well as you. So as you could tell, we hated it as well. So sorry about all the whining I gave you guys this season. Sorry about being so cringeworthy all season. Sorry, I know you've been requesting Greg to get rid of me, some of you on here. So, yeah, sorry.
You're reading way too many comments.
I do. Greg has warned me to stay away from that.
I've been. People have been like, John, get rid of Greg, and I'm like, you can't actually do that.
There's not going to be.
One's the owner of the channel.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I like. Look, I like interacting with people. Even though I've when I do interact with people, which is Andrew Gordon. It's just my YouTube thing on there. That's not my actual channel. It's just my name. I've been accused of not being the real Andrew. So if I do interact with you, and it's Andrew Gordon, if you have gotten to this point of the video, which I'm sure some of you haven't. Thanks, Paul. But if you have gotten to this point, I am Andrew Gordon. So when I interact with you and you say I'm not the real Andrew, it is really me. So, but no, look, I seriously, I don't mind constructive criticism. Like, I don't mind that. It's just when you get personal, that's the time where it's like, what did I do?
You can't ask them not to get personal. You're just going to make them get more personal.
That's true. That's true. No, but seriously, like, be as constructive as you want with me. I do not mind that in any way. If there's something you disagree with me, like in regards to that action sequence that I thought was missing in episode 8, if you thought there's a reason why they shouldn't have had it in there, absolutely, I'm down for a debate. Like, but it's like, he's a whiner and he's a complainer. I was like, I rewatched what I was saying. I was like,
oh God,
where am I whining?
Andrew, you gotta stop reading the comments.
I know, I do.
Jesus.
Well, there is a reason why I am in therapy now. Jesus. So I read too many comments.
You're talking so much. You got too much. You got to get off your chest to defend yourself. Stop it.
Nah,
they're going to attack you.
No matter what.
It's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes.
Trust me, I've been down the wormhole of arguing unnecessarily and being like, unsubscribe then, leave. I'm so mad at people.
Yeah, but seriously, no.
I'm an expert. We should do a Patron of the Day shout out. It's getting so late in the video.
But before we do, seriously, thank you to all you who've been with us. No,
not even them. Don't even thank the people who like you. Don't even thank them.
I wasn't thanking the people who like me. I just said thank you for all the people who've been with us through all these.
Don't even thank them.
Okay.
Horrible, and they're everyone who watches us. You're all terrible people. That's the goal. You alienate everyone. Everyone is your enemy. That's how you survive.
It's not post-apocalyptic world here, but
I'm just joking. Thank you to only the haters, not the lovers.
Yeah, there you go. Do I pick the Patreon of the day?
Yeah, do it. Who do you got?
I got it. I mean, we've got to keep it Last of Us. So who do you think I'm going with if I'm keeping it Last of Us? I got to go with Maria. Maria Hammond.
Maria Hammond?
Maria, that's Tommy's wife, Maria.
Why don't you grab that for me? Go ahead, Andrew. Leave the headphones.
The red thing?
Yeah. So go find out what that red thing is. Okay. Maria Hammond gave me this red thing. I have a photo that I need to take on a social media. It stays on my editing chair, Maria. I have an editing chair, and it stays on me. It's the cloak of levitation. It's always on my editing chair, and sometimes I legit use it if, like, when we had the rainstorms, and I was like, oh, I need a jacket, I would just put this on. I weirdly have used this for not as cosplay, but as like an actual blanket when I need it.
I want to see it levitate towards you without me having to bring it. Like, that would be something.
Maria only has so much money. She can't afford to buy that one.
The real one.
She can't go to Comartage and get this whole thing. And there's also a big box present over there that I got to unbox because we got it from Maria as well. She spoils us.
I'm
going to do a separate thing for that. But I can't get this button on tonight for some reason. But
do you
anyway.
Want me to try?
No. We're running short on time.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you do it, Andrew? Yeah,
I'm probably going to fail, but...
look at me. Look me in the eyes when you do it, Andrew. You're not looking me in the eyes. Oh, my God. No, look back at the button. Yeah, you did it.
I did it. Thank you, Maria, for your inspiration.
Thank you, Maria, for the inspiration and for my cloak of levitation.
It's beautiful.
And now I am Dracula.
You sounded like Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. This is a story
I am Doctor Strange. That's a good thing. But Maria, you are a gem, and you provide us with gems. And you know the conversations that we have, where you are extremely open and transparent and willing to be vulnerable. It's hard to find a good woman like you out there, because 99% of women are the problem with our world. No, I'm just joking. You're such a sweetheart, and I love you to death. I'm going to send you a message on Twitter very, very soon, Maria. Very soon.
I want to see a Doctor Strange film with Benedict Cumberbatch doing the Dracula impersonation now. I'm never going to unsee that now. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, okay.